My name is Sochi Foxworth, and I will be talking about religious oppression and the situations that people deal with on a daily basis regarding religious oppression. The title of my presentation is Religious or Not, Respect All. What is religion? According to Merriam-Webster's dictionary, there are four different definitions, and I have listed two: the state of religion, and the service and worship of God or the supernatural, and commitment or devotion to religious faith or observance. Currently, the United States is banning many Muslims from entering the U.S. because they are all considered terrorists. Christianity's connection to national religious identity is expressed through the Islamophobia and anti-Semitism in this present day. Christianity has shaped the stereotype of religious prejudices that European immigrants brought into the United States. Religious oppression is a social justice issue. Whenever there are pregame Christian prayers at a sports event, Christian team members do not realize that they are excluding other members of the team who may be Jewish, Muslim, or atheist, which alienates the concept of teamwork. The relationship of religion in connection to culture, norms, and assumptions globally is that diversity exists within any one given religion as well as between different religions. Intra-religious differences are often heard as blanket generalizations about faith traditions not holding true for all members, such as saying atheists think that religious is ridiculous. Protestants in the United States was historically racialized, so that a theme in more recent U.S. religious repression is the gradual racialization of the religions held by peoples of color. Protestant white settlers and landowners justified their violent actions towards Native American Indians and African race-based slavery of Christian superiority. U.S. history textbooks would emphasize the religious freedom sought by Pilgrims and Puritans fleeing from sectarian religious persecution in England and wanted to establish a safe New World haven for themselves and their co-religionists, but what they had in mind was freedom to practice their orthodoxy without persecution, later dehumanizing Native American religious beliefs, conflicting with Roman Catholic missions, and competed with other Protestants. The religious right is what the political force is known as, which in the past half-century has been visibly seen as the differing coalitions of fundamentalist Protestant and conservative Catholics collaborating to deny the rights of women's choice for abortion, marriage equality for same-sex couples, and the use of public-funded vouchers for religious schooling. Enormous contributions to social justice movements in the Americas and Africa have been made by Christian liberation theology. In the recent days, sanctuary has been offered to undocumented immigrants, which is a concept derived of the church as a sanctuary or safe space revitalized into the international movement by hundreds of churches, synagogues, and mosques. Christian population in the U.S. is declining. Many adults are not identifying themselves with any organized religion. The Pew Research Center has conducted a survey showing the difference between 2007 and 2014, how Christian religious followers has declined. The image shows the results of the conducted survey. Respondents' religious affiliation, also referred to as religious identity, is, for example, the Catholics that are defined as all respondents who claim to be Catholics. Unaffiliated or religious nones are people that are identifying themselves as atheists or their religious as nothing particular. The image shows the study that is done of other faiths and unaffiliated persons in the U.S. Generational replacement has been the cause of the growth of the nones. Much lower levels of religious affiliation, including less connection with Christian churches, is seen more with the millennial generation entering adulthood compared to the older generations, and the image below shows the results of the survey done. There are many forms of oppression in regards to religion. Iris Marion Young has defined 5 phases of oppression. They are 5 categories or phases of oppression and privilege, which are powerlessness, exploitation, marginalization, cultural imperialism, and violence. The first phase of religious oppression is powerlessness. According to Young, she defines powerlessness as the powerless are situated so that they must take orders and rarely have the right to give them, and they rarely command respect. The second phase of religious oppression is exploitation. Young views the phase of exploitation as a steady process of the transfer of the results of the labor of one social group to benefit another. The third phase of religious oppression is marginalization, whereby entire categories of people, such as non-Protestant Christians, are restricted from meaningful involvement in the social life of the community and nation, and subject to acute economic deprivation and even annihilation. The fourth phase of religious oppression is cultural imperialism. Young states that cultural imperialism involves the universalization of a dominant group's experiences and culture and its establishment as the norm. An example is school calendars are only scheduled around Christian holidays and celebrations in the U.S. The fifth phase of religious oppression is violence. A number of groups live constant fear of random and unprovoked systematic violence directed against them simply on account of their social identities. Violence against Muslims and Jews has escalated in the U.S. since September 11, 2001. Diane X. Context passage, Working It Out, talks about religious differences in America today in the workplace. She talks about the religious rights for everyone in the workplace. We the people must be able to accommodate everyone's religious practices, but how can we do so without offending others or causing any inconvenience for the other employees? Islam has become both a practice and an identity into the media forefront since the 9/11 events. The religion of Islam has become a negative outcome, and we should be able to create safe spaces not only for Islamic religious followers, but all religious followers. Muslims have had more issues and problems attending college and don't deserve to fear to attend college and receive an education.